Hello, students, and welcome back. I'm your host, Cody.
And I'm Krista. Today, we're going to talk about countries that we do not recommend people to go. Previously, we have talked about some countries that we think are good for traveling. So today, we are going to talk about countries that may not be good for traveling.
Right, and for some different reasons, different countries have their own problems. So we'll talk about what kind of countries, which countries we should think about going to carefully, and what kind of problem do they have.
Here are some reasons why these countries are not safe for traveling. The first one is actually war, which is obvious.
Right.
And then the second one is theft. Like you don't want your stuff to be stolen, so theft is a problem too. And also, surprisingly, there are countries that are unfriendly to visitors.
Right, and so we need to think about what kind of thing can help us with each problem. If there is a lot of crime, what should I do? If there's a lot of, if there's some war or conflict, what should I do?
So, students, what other countries do you think we should not go to? The first country we're going to talk about is Russia, because it's at war.
Right, in a war with Ukraine right now for the last, 2 years?
Almost, I think. It's quite long
almost
already.
2 years. Yeah, it's been a long time now.
So, countries like these, we shouldn't go.
Yeah.
It's apparently very, very dangerous.
Right. Even, if in Russia there's some risk of what if there's some, attack from Ukraine, and then, obviously in Ukraine, is probably dangerous everywhere. And then I think we have to worry about, well, especially for me, because I'm American, if I'm in Russia, there could be some political problem, or maybe they will take you to jail for some reason. You have to be very careful about that kind of thing.
Yes, because it's a tense situation.
Right.
So that's why we make Russia number one. And then number two is Mexico.
Right. So today I looked at the United States State Department website, and they have we call it travel advisory for Mexico.
Yes, I saw that too, yeah.
Yeah, so the Mexican government has some issues right now with there's a lot of crimes, such as like theft, people stealing your things, and gang problems and drugs. The gangs in Mexico are very, very powerful because they have so much money from selling drugs. There are certain places in Mexico that are quite safe. And if you check the U.S. State Department website, it'll say, like, you can go to this state, but not this state. So this place is safe and this place is not. Mexico is a pretty big country, and some places are much worse than others. So we also need to check what, if I want to go to Mexico, what part should I go to? Because some parts okay and some parts are not so safe.
It's a mixture of different problems.
Yeah, right, and the causes of those problems are quite powerful. So it's not a easy situation. Which is
I have an extra question.
Yeah.
Do you think they are friendly to foreigners, the visitors, tourists?
The normal people, yeah, sure. I've met there are a lot of Mexican migrants like around where I live in my hometown, all friendly, good people, just normal people like anyone else. I think it mostly is okay. Maybe the gangs are not, but don't talk to a gang.
Oh, okay, I see. Thank you. All right, our next country is Italy. I know Italy has theft problems. Like if you go, you gotta watch out your stuff, or else your stuff you can maybe get stolen, your money, or even your passport. I think.
Yeah, right. Anything you have.
Yeah, and then that's pickpockets, right?
Right.
But I don't know much about the gang problem though.
Right. So in Italy, they have some gang issues. They have had for a long time.
Mafia.
Yeah, mafia. Yeah, Italian
that's the term,
mafia. Yeah, right. That's it's like their name. And I think for like a normal person, like a tourist, there's not too much danger here. And in fact, we put Italy is lower on the list of danger, but mostly the gangs will just be fighting each other. Gangs fighting gangs. So if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you could face some danger. So it's important to like pay attention to what's going on around you. Maybe maybe be careful after dark. But yeah, it's perhaps less dangerous than other countries, but we still need to be careful.
Yeah, yes, I see. Next country is Myanmar.
Mm-hmm.
It's next to Thailand and Laos. It has beautiful architecture, but unfortunately it's a civil war, and it's also on the list of unfriendly countries, so it's not a country that I would recommend it going.
Yeah, that's right. All right, the next one we want to talk about is not necessarily a country, but it's more of a kind of an area of a continent in Africa. So in Central Africa, we'll say like the middle of Africa, there are many countries that have some civil war or conflict that are not safe to travel to. So it's something that we can hope for to improve, so we can go there in the future. But right now, many Central African countries have a lot of different safety issues and problems, so we think it's best to do some research before any kind of plan of going to a Central African country.
Okay, so let's wrap up some problems that we can see in traveling in like these unsafe countries. So number one is actually if it's a war, of course, not going. It's dangerous. So it's life-threatening.
Right.
And number two is theft.
Right. Second one is theft. People taking your things, taking your money, taking your ID or passport.
Do you have any tips for packing?
What I have always heard others say is this: don't put all your important things in the same place, right? Put your passport in, one bag, put your other ID in your wallet, put your half of your money in one bag, put the other half of your money somewhere else. Just don't put everything important together. If you have any kind of like Find My iPhone kind of thing, make sure to use that service.
Oh, I see.
Well, what about you?
That's what I do. I actually have like a big bag, but I put my important stuff separately.
Right.
And maybe my friend has some money.
Yeah.
And I have some. And some money hidden somewhere.
Right.
So if we do lose anything, it's not everything.
Yeah, right. You can at least still get back or have your identification or ID. Also, I always put in a place I don't know, I always put my wallet in my front pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I do know that if you do think ahead and if you have time, you make copies of your important IDs just in case.
Right.
So if you do lose them, you have something to prove.
Yeah,
who you are. Yes, it's very important.
Yes.
And lastly, I actually want to talk about hygiene issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people do go travel to other country and they come back sick.
Yes.
And they may get maybe food either poisoning or how do you say that when you get
some parasite?
Yeah, parasite problem. So you gotta really watch out. Like you're saying like some country you don't drink.
Right.
You don't drink tap water.
Yeah, don't drink the tap water in a country you don't know, or unless you know it's okay, then maybe. But do your research. I used to work in a restaurant, so I can tell you some things to look for. All right. 1, if it's street food, do they have running water? Do they have water? Can they clean their environment? 2, the temperature of the food. It should be either very hot or very cold. If it's sitting in some room temperature, don't eat that. And the last one is if you're worried, can you see the food being prepared? Like, it's better if you can see it, and that way you can make some choices, like what they're doing okay or not. So if the food is being prepared somewhere else, I mean, if it's a restaurant, that's okay, you can't see it. But if you're like eating street food,
street food,
you want to see that, be able to see what they're doing,
see what you may be eating and how they make it,
right,
and how the food is stored, right?
Yes.
Ooh, yeah, you gotta watch out for that too. Okay,
right, it can ruin your vacation.
Yeah, don't get sick. Okay, it's our activity time. Okay, Teacher Cody, can you tell us your 3 words today of the day?
Sure. The first one is recommend.
推荐.
The second one is conflict.
冲突.
And the last one is theft.
盗窃. Teacher Cody, please make a sentence with recommend.
Okay. I recommend you do your research before going to another country.
Thank you. Let's proceed to the question of the day. Question of the day is, what are other countries that are not safe for traveling? Please tell us.
We can't wait to see your worksheet. Write down your answers and send your worksheet to the Google form. You may win a big prize later. For more information, please visit Taoyuan ETRC Facebook page or website.
欢迎各位踊跃投稿学习单，在各单集的说明栏中会有 Google 表单的投稿连结，只要投稿一次就有一次抽奖机会。
Thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you learned something. Don't forget to send your worksheet, okay?
So that's the end of this episode. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.